rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start, physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, before we get started on today's podcast, I just want to take a minute to let you guys know that our new Work Hard Motherfucker t-shirts are now available at hostilegear.com. Head on over there, use the code Silverback and save 20% and get this badass t-shirt. I know a lot of people have been saying, hey, what a great idea, can't wait to get it. So now it's up there, it's in color, it looks awesome, and make sure to get yours AS to the AP. And now, on to the episode. Hey guys, and welcome to the Silverback Blueprint, the hot-headed man. So this is one of the things, again, I got from reading the Daily Stoic. I've talked about it before, and that's what they were talking about. And I found it resonated with me. I find the one thing that I run into personally, about to turn 50, and when I talk to other guys over 40 and over 50, is that we often run into, we have this anger, and sometimes we just can't always explain why there's an anger or the internal rage, but it's there. And I think that's part of the hard part as we get older is dealing with that, right? And I don't know, is it unresolved issues? Is it just not happy with where you are? Is it just we're getting cranky old fuckers like, Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the amount of time we have on the planet so far underneath our belt has made us a little crusty. I think we come at it from all kinds of different angles and stuff. And I often refer to this as, this internal rage. I jokingly call it my anger tank. And in fact, this is probably something that I've been doing for a while now that has helped me deal with that and sort of channel that anger. You can't always, like I said earlier, explain where it comes from. Sometimes you're in a situation and you're dealing with something and it's a little thing, but all of a sudden you feel yourself getting really worked up, getting really angry, and even I've caught myself, as I'm getting angry, dealing with this seemingly minor situation. I'm like, what the fuck why am I so mad? And then I just realized sometimes it's just the buildup of what's been going on over the last few weeks, few months, few decades, right? And I think sometimes we just have that tipping point. So I like to visualize truly like an anger tank. This might get a little weird for some people and stuff, but I found this is something that works for me. And, I really visualize that anger tank, and it's buried deep inside me. And I use it as a visualization to sort of channel that rage in there and sort of keep it there for when I need extra fuel. When I feel that it just flares up, I try to find a way to just, I don't know, deal with it. You can't always vent. You can't always go off, nor should you, right? We're talking about maintaining better self-control, controlling our emotions. So when these things do flare up, I think we need to do something with them. And hopefully as I get older and I get better at this and I become more wise and that kind of thing, the flare-ups are less, it's more controlled. I mean, that's part of that whole skill set of self-control and stoicism that we talk about. But sometimes I'll sit there and I'll really just visualize that tank, and in my mind it's like this large steel container. It's got the big rivets, it's got the solid thick walls. It's strong. It'll hold whatever I put in there, and but there is like a glass window, and in that glass window, I can see flames, I can see the energy, and sometimes even some of the demons I'm dealing with, and I find it just really helps me just file some of that stuff away until I need it. And then what I like to do is when I'm dealing with a situation that just requires me to dig deeper. So, maybe it's a workout and I've got 2 sets left. I'm getting my ass kicked or whatever. Or it's midnight and I still got an hour or two of work to do. That's where I like to visualize myself tapping into that anger tank and then, release some of that energy and use it as fuel to push me to get this next hour or two done. Sometimes it's literally that, like, I'll fucking show those guys, that kind of thing. Or, they laughed at me in Berlin or whatever, right? It's really about taking that and now using it to my advantage, channeling that power, right? There's a lot of energy that can be used and utilized. And it's a way for me to take a negative and turn it into a positive situation, right? Because we're going to run into situations that make us angry, to flare us up, bring up a bad memory, whatever it is. So I find this just helps me process it and accept it and understand that this is going to happen. And at the end of the day, it's up to me to carefully control, when and how I release that energy, because it can quickly consume you. It can quickly turn into hate and revenge and jealousy, right? I mean, those are super powerful, super negative emotions that typically will get fueled by that anger tank, right? And I just really want to turn around and channel that into energy to use for courage. I use it, and it's visualization. I'll sit there sometimes and I'm tired and I'm beat up and I'm trying to get through stuff, and I'll actually visualize myself just beaten up and bleeding, and I'm like, fuck this. I'm just going to pack this wound with some rocks and mud, and we're going to get to the other side, and I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to heal on the other side. And at the end of the day, it's what allows me to push forward. It's what allows me to sit there and say, you know what, I'm just going to bite my lip and I'm going to get through this, right? Sometimes it's a situation where it's a physical endeavor, like I said, working out, or you're exhausted, but you've got to finish this because it's important for what you're working on, or your vision, or your plan, or even just to get through the fucking day. Sometimes it's a situation where, I'm dealing with a client, or I'm dealing with a staff member, and, I know what we're currently dealing with isn't what I want it to be. I don't like the situation. I don't like what's happening here. So rather than get angry, right, I use that and I fuel it away. And then what I do is when I do that, I sit down and say, okay, I don't want that to happen again. So now that I'm calmer, how do I resolve that situation better? So maybe it is, addressing that policy in the business that causes, that client situation to happen. Maybe it's, addressing a way we do something in our lives so that we don't keep running into the same scenario with someone we're dealing with, whether it's family, whether it's staff, whether it's, just our neighbors, right? It's finding a way to use that as a signal when we're angry and we feel that energy rise up. I think it's also a signal that the situation we're dealing with isn't the way we want it to be. And maybe we're the ones at fault. Maybe we just need to sit down and understand that we're getting angry at this situation for something that, like I said earlier, happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It reminds us of a situation that, went poorly for us, that hurt us, that scarred us, right? And I think that's very human. I think that's very natural. But I think what we have to do as we get more mature and really start to try to really decide how we're going to live our days and how we're going to handle these situations, it becomes our responsibility to recognize the situation and channel that energy and find a way to, just diffuse the situation, look at the situation for what it really is, not for how we feel it is. We talked earlier, a few episodes ago, about what things appear to be to us based on our filters and our emotions as opposed to how they really are. But again, I don't like to, poo-poo the fact that energy isn't there, right? I don't like to try and pretend it's not happening. Rather, it's about channeling it. And I think for me, that's probably one of the things that was a turning point a few years ago when I started to do that. I found it just helped me just deal with the situation, deal with the energy, and just know in the back of my mind that we're going to store that and we're going to use that later. And there's been times where, it's 2 a.m. and I'm pounding out 150 t-shirts that have to be ready the next day. Or, I'm tired from that and I have to get up and be at the gym first thing in the morning, right? That's where I get that fuel from. That's where I visualize it. And I think it's important to recognize that we're going to have those situations and we're not going to be able to live a life totally free of those negative emotions. But if we know that we can turn around and we have some way of dealing with it, I think that also gives us another level of calmness, another level of confidence, knowing that we can deal with this situation. One of my favorite quotes I like to think of and use is, "This too shall pass," right? So diffuse the situation overall. Try to figure out the best way to handle it, right? And then come back to it. That to me is a sign that we're getting better, that we're becoming more efficient, that we're becoming better at just, living and being human. And I think that's something to aspire to and stuff. So, hopefully that gives you guys an idea what's going on. Knowing that I've always got that fuel source, I know that I'm going to be able to use it to keep moving forward, right? And get through whatever's out there. I just know it's like having that extra battery pack that we can charge our phone on and stuff, right? So at the end of the day, this might have got a little weird, but it's something I've been thinking about, and I wrote out a bunch of notes about how to try to articulate it a little bit better. But for me, that's that visualization of that tank, just deep down inside me, that's super powerful and can hold everything in. But it's up to me to control how I release that energy overall. And that's all I got to say about that, guys. Listen, head on over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, a rating, and then a review. Also, head over to hostilegear.com. Silverback Blueprint is always happy to be part of what we do at Hostile. And it's really cool. I've been getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people listening and reaching out and actually thanking us for what we're doing. So it's pretty cool. I know our downloads are growing, which is really sharp. We have to have different ways to look at how, we measure some analytics and stuff like that. And it's not all about, the numbers, but it is about the numbers as well, because it gives us an idea how we're doing over there overall. But I'm getting a lot of comments. I'm getting emails later on. I'm getting Facebook messages, running into people that are saying, hey, I listen to your podcast when I do this and I do that. And they're grateful for it. And I'm really grateful once again to have this platform to be able to not only, help other people, other guys and stuff, because it's super important to give back, but it also helps me deal with things. I get a lot of power when I'm sitting down and I'm writing out notes for the episodes that are coming up and stuff. And sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 pages written out, and sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 lines. But I find, again, another way for me to just channel some of the things that's happening to me overall. So, I think I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have found this platform and be part of people's lives and help them out. But it helps me just as much as it's helping others, if not more, So, thanks for that, guys. And I'll talk to you guys later.